那是8月应该。那半年我的 DLC 呢？我的 mod 工具呢？对，你速度先把 mod 工具搞出来。大家想给你做没得做，你说多离谱。虽然他现在已经有一些 mod 了，但是那些 mod 就它主要是它官方那个平台出来，甚至都不是 mod 工具，因为已经有就现在没有 mod 工具情况下，已经有不少 mod， 而且是功能性 mod 已经开始有了。但问题是它是第三方软件，大家用起来太麻烦了，第三方网站，所以就等着它速度把那个平台弄出来。但平台的话是好事，平台3月份过1个月就快了，1个半月应该就出来了。但是说实话，我也不知道为什么这平台出这么慢，为什么半年了没办法把 mod 平台送出来。这游戏可以足足跳个1年，我觉得完全可以。但是我也认为开发组绝对也想跳，因为从我的观察来看，没有任何的游戏开发商是愿意自己的游戏没做完发布。这种情况只有2个可能性：一是开发商没钱了。如果开发商自己发行那种独立的发行商、开发商的话；2，发行商催，只有这2种可能，不可能有任何的游戏制作者希望自己制作的东西以未完成的状态，绝对不可能。所以 P 社要负多少责任，那还真说不清。而且 CO 是个小工作室 ，CO 就几十个人，好像30-40个人吧，我记得之前看的时候。虽然说咱们都没有证据，说是白纸黑字的，说是 P 社要求必须发售的，但是这件事用常理都想得到。如果不是发行商的压力的话，开发他们，我看他们这么多年都没有出2，而且1卖的很好，也不像是那么缺钱的样子。所以综上所述，我不认为这是 CEO 自己觉得这样可以发售。再结合 P 社今年不止这一件事情，不止这1个游戏。以这种状态，所以我觉得大概率就是 Paradox 自己的问题。否则这游戏明明没有准备好。你说跳个1年，然后这优化都打磨完了 ，bug 都修完了，然后直接首发加 mod 工具，那不绝杀吗？直接首发 mod 平台全包括了 ，mod 工具全包括了。然后优化问题比现在好很多，也没有这些奇葩 bug， 那这游戏有什么？这太可惜了。结果却连本来的 DLC 计划都要推迟。不过其中有一个 DLC， 他们说是 on track， 就是虽然那个 Bridge and Piers 跳了，但是他那个终极版里有一个 DLC 叫什么来着？还有一个我记得，看一眼。Beach Property 这个 Asset Pack， 他们说这个在 on track。还有 Urban 这个城市广场公园和现代建筑这2个 Creator Pack 什么时候出啊？哎，你这些跳也就算了，我的3个电台你能不能给我出了？这什么意思？电台的曲子还没做完吗？难道？能不能先把我3个电台出来？靠！咱们这3个电台我都虽然这音乐很好听，但是我天天就听着仨，是不是不太爽？不过即使说它有这么多问题，依然看看这滨海做的多漂亮。这种滨海你在1的原版首发，你做梦！这种级别的路线复杂度，这种真的你就做梦，不可能。2的原版能做到如此优良的这种滨水细节，是令人震惊。 1的默认画面你可以看一下，你就知道这实在是离大谱。1你打了那一大堆 mod， 也许能比在一些方面，但是原版那简直就是，举个例子吧，就画面观感这些表现。我前段时间回去看了一下1的原版画面，因为我1都是打了一堆 mod 玩的，没想到原版画面能丑成那个样子，就感觉是你从辐射3进化到了星空，真的是这么离谱，不是什么辐射4，不是什么老滚5，是从辐射3到星空的质感的区别。能觉得优化差不差是没有说服力的，你自己看看是什么配置，对吧？你看看4090在 Steam 调查里有占多少？占0点几。不过我就有一说一，我当年天际线1打了1000多个资产那些 mod 以后，我那城市4090我也就不到20帧了，真的，我就放大到这个规则就和这个帧数，比这个帧数还要差一点，但是画面表现力绝对都没有这个好。这天际线1，当年大家都是这么玩，那些做那些 Tokyo 的那些作者，那都是几帧个位数在玩，大家。所以其实我也不觉得2的优化问题特别大。对于1玩了久的人来说，我觉得都知道1是个什么样子。我也不认可他们所谓的先把优化搞好再出 DLC。我觉得你这游戏优化是有问题，但是问题真没有大到那个地步。你不如先把你的 mod 支持，把 DLC 按部就班的出来，沿途再慢慢优化，再慢慢改这些东西，而不是现在非要搞和这个磕。上次我们是做到了原厂区的这个地方，非常的令人舒适。这个运河的水位有点太低了，我可以再高一点，就是把这河口再打开大一点，这个才是最好掌握水的方式，而不是别的那个。汽车中心站这边的轨道有点丑，我决定要改一下。这边轨道怎么就看着有点怪怪的呢？这中间突然塌下去一块，我也不理解是怎么回事。这边就很优美的弧线，很完美，特别漂亮。这中间的土要清一下。晚上好。 这个地方的英文名叫什么来着？我都忘了。这边有这个问题，他们两个有点。这个以后出了 mod 可以再解决，现在这种细节，现在搞这种细节有点麻烦，因为主要是我这边其实没做好，我这个人行道啊，如果你，哎呀，我这个人行道没拉好，因为它另一边是栅栏，如果你另一边拉出来的，当时我注意一点，不是拉出来栅栏的话，像这一边它就是永远自动对齐的，但是靠失误了，真的，这个只能现在先这样。因为要重拉的话就麻烦了，现在等以后有 Anarchy mod 再拉会轻松一点。不是，是护栏它就不会自动和这边的土地连起来，就会有这种洞。你要做出这种一边有护栏一边没护栏的，它才会自动连起来。重拉不行，因为有水了。有水了就不能重拉，必须在没水的时候。我当然可以把整个河都断掉，但我懒得这么搞，到时候等有 mod 再搞。欣赏这些小车，我最喜欢的结构就是这种错综复杂的结构。你可以看到同一个街区里面有火车从地上经过，从地下经过，然后这些公路河流交错起来的那个感觉特别爽。对，我晚上就是喜欢看风景。火车从底下经过，靠，这感觉真好。层次。这怎么有柱子？有柱子的话，可以尝试一个办法，先把这个拆了。你们俩有仇是吧？ 不可以？可以吗？不是。弧度不行，位置可以。你把吸附关掉以后，你就可以拖动它的位置，但弧度不行。哼，人家还真有。弯路就它可以统一往外或者往内。噔噔噔噔噔噔噔。我绝对反而不要这高楼，不好看。这个也不是说有，我也不是说有你有什么需求我就允许你有什么，而是要考虑到市容市貌，所有的高密度、低密度、中密度都必须经过严格的市容考量，否则我们城市是有限高，不允许你随便建，你想建多高就建多高，你想得美。我们会有类似那种，虽然我没有那么细致。比如说东京的做法是，你的路有多宽，你的建筑就能建得多高。你建筑的高度必须相对路面，所以你会发现他们有很多特别区，就是他会说你这个建筑靠路的一侧要多高，因为它和阳光这些东西有关，反正。然后你会发现日本有很多楼的楼顶是斜着的三角形，靠路的那一边是一个坡，就是为了尽可能多建高一点，然后纽约那边则是你要建高可以，但是每一个地块有一个高度限制，你可以买别的楼的那个没有用的那个高度，然后你去。然后国内有些城市是怎么样？我听说，比如说成都之类的城市，你可以建高楼，但是你这个开发商要建的楼越多呢，不对，好像是哪里的？哦不，是温哥华。温哥华是你在市中心建高楼，你必须交换的建同样面积的公园。反正它每个城市都有自己的政策，都不是随便建高楼，也就此催生出了不同的城市面貌。比如说纽约的牙签楼就是买了周围一堆楼的那个上空的空间。又比如说，为什么温哥华市中心的绿化做得那么好，就是因为 Concord Pacific 这个开发商买了那么一大块地，然后想狂建高层公寓，那代价就是他必须建大量的绿地和公园，这一切都是政策催生出来的有趣的事情。而且又是为什么日本那么多的商住混合的区域，就是因为它的 zoning， 它是几乎是允许在绝大部分的zoning 里面你可以自己经营。比如说你买了一块地，无论它是什么，它是绝大部分的地段类型的话，你都可以直接在你一楼开家小商店。但是比如说北美为什么不行呢？因为如果北美认定一块地方是 residential 的话，你根本就是禁止你用作任何商业用途。但是日本是不是这样，所以你会发现有的大街小巷里本来都是居民区，突然冒出来一栋楼，它一楼是个商店，然后二楼是这样的住户。因为日本政府很多时候是允许你自己利用你的地块，这也是一个不一样的地方，也就造就了为什么北美都是铺大饼，然后工业就是工业，商业就是商业，住宅就是住宅，但是日本却各种零星碎片的加在一起的原因。玩城市天际线这个系列，我不知道学了多少关于城市规划和政策的知识，这些东西我以前可都不知道，我都是因为这游戏去看的。你甚至说在游戏你实际用不上，但是你在规划城市的时候，你心里会有点考量，你不管它实际有没有这个机制。比如说它的 划分还是这种分的比较明显的，不允许居民自己变。但是我在放区域的时候，我就会下意识的把这些都混在一起，我不会去放成那种，因为我还是比较认可日本的城市设计思路，而不是北美这种城市设计思路。我的 zoning 就是挺混，可以看，商业、办公、住宅基本是混在一块儿。除了这一个地方，这个地方是北美的一个小镇一样，你看，这就是典型的北美，市中心有这种 commercial， 然后就全是他妈的 residential， 北美就这个样子。但是我不喜欢这种，我喜欢的反而是这种，这个就是日本的 zoning， 全部混在一起。还好它这一代有混合区块，希望它以后多点混合区块，比如说做个混合低密度、混合高密度。它现在只有混合中密度，其实挺怪的。为什么只有混合中密度？我靠！而且混合为什么只有那个住宅和商业？按理说应该有商业和办公，对吧？很多大楼不都是底下是商场，上面是那个办公区吗？所以它缺这么一个东西。办公应该也有的，希望以后 DLC 能加进来。在这边建停车场，千万不能忘记了停车场的重要性。对了，它默认的高速是没有路灯的，所以你最好自己拉一下。我都忘了这件事情，你不知道吗？发现吗？也不知道为嘛哦，为什么我知道？北美的高速很大部分高速除了城区内的都不带灯的，加拿大就是这样，很怪。我之前去班夫第一次注意到这件事，哎，这路上怎么一片漆黑？靠！对，高速还真没灯。还有隔音墙，这东西也挺重要的。对，隔音墙只能在地面，我这边也用不到。估计也要等mod。隔音墙不能建高架是一件挺奇怪的事情。那我把你 Discord 放上。如果他如果有异步多人就好，比如说我可以连到你的城市，然后跟你抢资源。
虽然不能，对，你是这么想的，我想的是虽然不能。就是可以参观啊，或者是可能就隔。
我想的是这样，你看我城市发展的这么兴盛， 所以你城市的人肯定都觉得这儿好，所以的外来务工都来我城市打工，然后你城市就破产。
你在玩红警是吗？
不是模拟城市有这种，那个2013的时候就好像有那种别的城市太好，导致人全跑到那边去工作去了。
这太黑暗了，你这玩。
把你的城市变成那种空壳城市。
但我这里消费水平低便宜，因为我，因为
那要等好一段时间，他们才会意识到应该回到舒适的城市。都喜欢来大城市打拼，你说是不是很现实？
你看看你的需求，告诉我那些人怎么住？
那只能蜗居在鸽子笼里了。
咦，泰国。不要走。
请问你们要住什么区呢？这个地方我要改一下，因为这边是个路口。中密度联排别墅。
Are you tired of shopping at the dingy stores? Sure you are. That's why you go to Common Groceries, the ultimate destination for the discerning shopper.
Why, hello, Janet.
Hi, Stanley.
Isn't this a lovely place to shop?
It sure is. Common Groceries. For twice the price, it's twice as nice.
Oba District.
天天在抱怨堵车，屌你！啊，堵了。
现在他们想要低密度，我也没看你们见过，其实
可能也没给多少人见多少。教育系统放低的，又显出金贵。对的，都变低密度，都变中密度。
这小学也太多人了。
我也是小学先吧，烦的要死。
我少一半的小学，震惊的是。我城市已经建立一大堆小学了，你们要干嘛？一个区他妈建3个小学都不够。
邮局，更多邮件。
对，每个我都快忘了邮局。每个区起码要有个邮局，这是肯定。
这东西换的。无线电塔，我在这里有点吵。邮政车也够用。我建议。哇，这医院。基本每个区都有，市中心有一个医院。医疗够。又废弃，没建起来就好。
拿杯可乐。哎呦，哎，怎么这么快就亮？去拿了杯可乐，怎么天亮？
这条路怎么能这么？
看来这条街非常繁忙。
跟跑不通过。
大阪4小时 vlog 什么时候能出？我也不知道。
哇，整个地面怎么变这样？
真的，这条运河给这个橙色的景象增添了太多的多样性。漂亮。
车呀。
Now entering thick digital games. Prepare for sensory overload.
You want it thick. Digital! Are you a man or a mountain? Digital! You ready for a game that rips out your heart and stomps it to death? Digital! Then come on down to Thick Digital and we'll hook you up to adrenaline overdrive.
为什么他这桥拉的这么
This, sir. Then hit 'em with everything we've got.
练
Digital! Thick
就是
digital! It's all out
在
war.
地图上已有的这个高速公路的桥拉的真，拉了这个
拉高架是门学问，如何拉的好看是门学问，就像咖啡拉丝一样。
这，那是它的微体，就是在已有建筑上微体来讲。哎，这毒死！又开始。不要去那边问题多。工业区也是这。有堵子。哦，巴士侧翻，怎么还有个医疗直升机过来救人？
重大事故了，
又是3连撞，你们撞车怎么总是撞3辆？先把车拖旁边啊，别堵我路啊。好火了！可以建几种？嗯。
公园，小型公园。
在港口这边。我操！又去了。我刚建完消防直升机，它就开始森林火灾了，是故意的。打森林火灾，看出来。哎，这垃圾车过不来。
偷吧。这里也没什么特别政策，其实。
完了，
越级
垃圾堆积，楼被污染。
对，
不应该把垃圾场那里。为什么这个问题？系统办法。有辆车我。
耶，被废弃。
哎，我垃圾车怎么还没来？能不能不要路边停？有什么办法让它不路边停？
放树啊，
哦，
种树种草坪，
不准路边停。种树。不是没有。这布局。天！我说垃圾车怎么没来呢？原来垃圾车在路上撞车了。人真的是。天！被卷入交通事故。绕下路走。
这楼这么红，
咱们不会绕一下远路吗？非得从这个口。
搞几个东京城市规划。
消防站的，开始
Tokyo。
放的特别长。
纪录片，这算纪录片吗？哦，这儿有。
佐藤健です。僕の暮らす東京、好きなところも嫌いなところもある。いずれにせよ変な街だ。
Very first sun of the year has arisen, shining very beautifully upon buildings.
こっちの東京も晴れてるよ。
こっちね、晴れてるよ。ほら。
こんにちは。東京も晴れてるよ。
退学厉害。
じゃ、いってらっしゃい。
1000万人を超える人たちが生活し、
声音怎么这么小啊？纪录片。
誰かと出会い、つながり、別れていく。
好家伙，画中画用不了中文字幕，那我直接学日语了。
そんなみんなの営みが
这下听懂。
光景を作り出す街、東京。
大概还真看得懂什么意思，毕竟字幕里有很多汉字。
でもどこか愛おしい。
ツイッターとか LINE あるじゃないですか。中学生って今時難しいんですよ。以上。
NHK では2020年に向けて大きく変貌する東京の姿を記録していきます。東京ミラクルシティ、記録するのはあなたです。一般の人たちが撮影した映像を集め、東京の巨大な映像エンサイクロペディアを作ろうという試みです。始まったばかりのこのプロジェクト、この番組では100人の人たちに現在開発中のアプリを使ってもらい、撮影された映像を3人の映像クリエイターが作品に仕上げます。
本当に普段こう生活してて狙ってないものが本当に撮れたりとか。
这并不是我以为的东西。
We have all the finest silk and many other, whatever you desire.
还是要到油管找，找不到。我靠，这。
Then we measure you to your tip, and you will love the thread
单
we
行
spin
道
for you. A chacha threads. You
单行
never had better.
Are a reality.
Many people ask the service staff because it is so much easier than looking by yourself. They always know the best and fastest way.
And yet, be it with or without assistance, when passengers arrive on the platform, they expect to experience one thing above all else: punctuality. Just like at every other station in the world. The average delay for the station's largest train line, JR, is an incredible 0.4 minutes. If a train is delayed by 5 minutes or more, the conductor apologizes over the loudspeaker. Maximum courtesy guaranteed. Prompt and precise. A reputation that railway staff aren't willing to jeopardize any time in the future, either. Discipline means pride and honor, even for the newest employees. That's why they carefully repeat the most important rules of their job every single morning.
If there is a foreign-looking customer at the station, looking around and looking lost, how do you behave?
I will ask to see if I can help.
Newcomer Kota Ino's dream is to become a train driver one day. To get promoted to the cab, trainees have to graduate from a strict school and also learn what matters most: happy customers.
Okay, the seniors have the word now. Please, managers, continue.
A smile for our customers.
A smile for our customers.
Let's synchronize our watches. Okay, that's it. Let's go to work.
よろしくお願いします。
Kota Ino's job today is to supervise the platform. It's a job with a great deal of responsibility. The number
城市人口
one
的
rule
下
here is
降。
keep the tracks clear and the platform under control.
在干嘛呢？
And to do this, Kota Ino follows strict Japanese rules at all times.
Back at the train?
因为你拆了
Okay.
楼啊。
Tracks? Okay.
后分析。
A system that
失
seems
业
to
率有
work in
点
Japan.
高，因为办公
Even
区、商业区
Tokyo's
都没有
largest
跟
railway
上，他们可
company
能
gets
搬
away
走，
with fewer than 200
找不到
accidents a
工
year.
作。像那个《The Expanse》里的地球，城市太富，工作没有工作了。
没工作。
那没有工作，这些人就没有机会赚，只
The
能维持那个
station's
很低的
most
生活标准，
important
他
line
们可能不
alone
开
invests
心。
over 1.8 billion
即使这
euros
个
a
生活
year
标
in
准也让他们
safety.
温饱，
The
但
goal?
肯定你也
To
不开
reduce
心，
the
你肯
number
定
of
想更。
accidents involving passengers to zero in the future. It's an ambitious plan, and Kota Ino is proud to be a part of it.
In order to avoid mistakes, I use my fingers, so I'm much more aware. Time? Okay. Departure? Okay.
Kota Ino performs his duties to the fullest, regardless of whether there are 2 or 200 passengers on the platform.
One time a customer fell on the track. Luckily, I saw it. For situations like that, it is very helpful that I check everything carefully. That's why we have to be very strict with our procedures.
Accidents that don't involve passengers. Trains that don't run late. Absolute perfection. However, Kota Ino is not the only one fighting this battle. When it comes to safety, the world's busiest station also relies on an above-average number of surveillance cameras. And all their images are compiled here, in the station manager's control room. He and his team watch every second of what's going on in the station. As the station master, Hidehiko Moriyama bears more responsibility than most.
你看这种时候，比如说这边有一堆格子，但你不想要这些格子在这边，你可以建一个人行道，把它们相当于强制给它们归到这边来，然后放，放完以后再把人行道拆掉，就完美。
As Shinjuku Station is a district station, I have to match up the schedule of all the other stations. My job consists of 3 main things. I have to make sure that everything is safe, that the trains are running on time, and that everybody of the 380 staff members of the station is working well together all year long.
One major problem. The area surrounding Shinjuku is also home to other stations, like Yoyogi Station, located a mere 800 meters away. Balancing out delays between there and here is an impossible feat. That's why the stations liaise closely to keep their schedules in sync. This allows them to keep both delays and accidents to a minimum, no matter what the circumstances.
We are checking for unusual things. For example, if a customer is injured or something suspicious is happening in the station area. If needed, we get all the information about it and act on it. Even if I am not here, they operate 24 hours in this room.
Hidehiko Moriyama and his team are the eyes and ears of the entire station. Despite the giant hub's vast size, cutting-edge technology, allows them to keep an eye on everything from behind the scenes. Meanwhile, there's a lot going on inside the station itself. The shops are now especially busy. Sales are already in full swing. At peak times, around 200 customers visit every store. Japan's private railway companies use their property for a range of purposes. Above their stations, they build things like shopping centers, office blocks, travel agencies, and supermarkets. The whole area in and around Shinjuku Station is a money-making machine. To make sure everything runs as smoothly as possible, everything in the giant hub is tailored towards maximum customer friendliness. Passengers like Satoshi Kuwana can even pay using their train tickets. After all, this giant hub is a lot more than just a station. There is one name that most locals couldn't imagine
新
Shinjuku
宿
without.
站这种站，
Lunchbox Place.
希望以后
Located
DLC 能让你
directly
造这
en
么
route to the
复杂的。
platforms. Many travelers make a pit
我
stop
超级
here
火车
before
站就
continuing
好。
their journeys. Things seem to be pretty peaceful for now.
我们的中央车站
However,
现在还是比较
longtime
简
employee
单的，
Hazuki Yamadura is
也
well
就
aware that this is
8
just
个
the
站
calm
台，
before the storm.
1、2、3、4、5，只有6个站台，其实太小，还带个地铁站而
Then a
已。
lot of people will come. Therefore, we need many lunch
不够，
boxes.
不够，不
We
够。
all have to work together in a team in order to manage the workload.
Every day, the kitchen worker prepares fish and vegetables just before the first throng of visitors is due to arrive. On a good day, 2,500
我
boxes
靠
pass over the counter here.
一家店，
Believe strongly in the
新宿站的
importance
一
of
家
fresh
店一天可以卖2500
food
个
even
便
when they're
当，
traveling.
但它可能有
Spices
几
and
十
oil
家
are used
店，
sparingly.
地上地下的
The
所有的。
intrinsic taste is what matters to customers. Passenger Satoshi Kuwana regularly picks up a lunchbox. This traditional Japanese bento box contains rice as the basic ingredient, plus various vegetable, meat, or fish toppings. Depending on what option you go for, each portion costs between 4 and 8 euros. Before Satoshi Kuwana reaches the platform area, he has to pass through one of the 104 fully automated control gates, which 3.6 million other travelers also pass through every day. At this moment, Shinjuku Station alone contains the same number of travelers as the total people who use the entire London Underground network in one day. And
Yeah.
yet, there's not a single trace of chaos.
他刚才说什么？新宿站此刻的人流量是伦敦地铁一整天的人流量。这
Everybody is lining up correctly. Right now we have the rush hour, but because everybody is following the rules and stands on the right line, it doesn't seem like it is very crowded.
好，说到这点，就是首先我去东京的时候，最大的一个感觉就是每一次从地铁上下来，所有的人几乎所有的人，我感觉都是先让，就是他们全部会靠在两边嘛，这也是很正常，全部会靠在两边，然后让上面的人先下。但温哥华可温哥华所有的人都他妈挤在门口，我下都下不去。就是他们明明看到里面有一堆人要下来，所有人就挤在门口和你对冲。你说有我真的，我从东京回来就真的觉得温哥华这地方真是哎，什么素质？能不能靠边站站？靠这些人啊！
Be it an overground or underground service. The most important tool for getting your bearings: floor markings. Every train stops at a precise point. Passengers wait patiently here. forming lines just out of the way from where the doors will open. Thanks to the Japanese tendency to follow rules, the flow of passengers remains constant. Passengers even get on and off the train at the same time. The doors open and close automatically within a set time window. With this system, it takes less than a minute for passengers to get in and out. And this is what allows the train to depart exactly on time, right down to the last second. This wasn't always the case. For a long time, Shinjuku Station was famous for their pushers. People who helped to preserve
这个我是不理解日本的一个地方，
their job was to squash
就是
the last few
你这些人塞进去了，他们怎么下车啊？我就想知道里面的人，
in place today.
就是那个推人的那个，把人挤进去，那你怎么下来啊？就每一站再重新推一次是吗？ 不过其实我去的时候倒没遇到真的需要推的情况，是不是？估计是以前还是非常高峰的时候。而且他们的车隔的感觉也不是很久。城内的火车的。
Japanese travelers appreciate all their hard work. Around 80% of Tokyo citizens use public transport. And there's another reason for this trend. Tokyo is vast and has almost no parking spaces. Its complex and heavily overloaded public transport network, therefore, has to work seamlessly at all times, no matter what the circumstances. And it has to do all this in a country where earthquakes are a common occurrence. Japan had to learn the hard way what happens when the public transport system literally collapses.
地震。
The memories of tragedies like the Kobe earthquake in January 1995 are never likely to fade. The earthquake, which registered 7 on the Richter scale, paralyzed the entire infrastructure. Over 6,000 people lost their lives.
这原厂区慢慢开始填好， 而且很漂亮。
According to the experts, there is a 70% chance of a quake of this magnitude occurring in the next 30 years. Were it to happen during rush hour, an incident like this could claim tens of thousands of lives. To make sure they are as prepared as possible, scientists are working on ways to eliminate weak points. At the Railway Technical Research Institute, Yoshitaka Maruno and his team conduct research for giant hubs like Shinjuku Station.
香蕉。
Their mission is to find the most effective ways for the infrastructure to withstand another earthquake.
大きな地震に対してどこが
Here we detect which structures will be damaged the most, and we offer that information to the stations.
それを提供します。で今度は
After the earthquake has happened, we have developed an information system that tells the train companies via internet within 5 to 10 minutes how big was the tremor in each area, so it gives them an idea how to react to it.
鉄道事業者さんにインフォメーションとしてインターネットで配信をしています。
Employees at the Research Institute have been working hard for years to keep the effects of a disaster as small as possible. Using large-scale experiments, they find out how the track constructions will respond to quakes of varying severity. Their knowledge helps the railway companies to equip themselves for specific scenarios and increase the load capacity of their constructions. Sturdy columns and the best materials possible are designed to stop the country from collapsing, should worse come to worst.
哦，这铁轨抗震。
The
摇
Institute
成这
also
样都不会
provides
倒
all the country's stations with immediate updates and all tectonic movements. The stations suspend operations as soon as there is a threat of a dangerous earthquake.
It was a big success when we heard about the latest earthquakes in Kumamoto and Tohoku. There were no big damages in the main structures, and it was because of our calculations.
Shinjuku Station has also adjusted the mountings on its tracks to make sure it is equipped for any eventuality. Behind the scenes in the world's busiest station, employees put their all into making sure that traffic keeps flowing. Passengers like Satoshi Kuwana have come to rely on this. Anything that can be planned should run like clockwork, thanks to traditional Japanese discipline. One thing that cannot be planned, something referred to as passenger accidents. Japan has the highest suicide rate in the world, an average of 24,000 a year. According to the latest figures, 700 of these deaths occur in train stations alone. That means that on average there are almost 2 suicide
屏蔽
attempts
门
a
是
day.
真的，就温哥华没有屏蔽门，虽然自杀事件没那么多，但是隔一段时间就能听到那种什么那个站台上有人企图袭击别人，企图把别人推下站台的新闻，隔一段时间就会有，导致每次都离那个站台站得远远。
The only
太
way
吓
to
人
prevent
上班的
something
时候
like
上
this
班
is
坐
to
地铁
stay
的，在有
alert.
人在他面前跳
As well as surveillance cameras, the
好
station is
恐
also
怖，就应该
equipped
安
with
屏蔽
countless
门。
emergency call buttons.
我看说
As
不
a
安屏蔽
result,
门是可能是因为
passengers
你要
and
按，就所有
employees
站台都
often
要
spot
按，然
people
后
acting conspicuously in time, preventing the worst before it can happen. Another effective tool, placing barriers in front of the tracks. Be
Barriers,
it intentionally or accidentally, no passenger will ever fall onto the rails with these in the way.
温哥华
The
一个
barriers
屏蔽
only
门都
open
没有
when a train，
没有
has
一个
come to
站
a。stop. And yet, despite all of these technical precautions, staff vigilance is always the most important
不
weapon.
过日本也不是
To
所有
make sure
的
all
站
workers
台都
do
有
their
屏蔽
bit,
门，
longtime employees like Fumio Taguchi
我也没
review
详细看过
newcomers
是
on a
哪些有
regular
哪些没
basis.
有。
Rail staff at the giant hub are subject to strict checks around the clock.
I work at Saibu Railways since 35 years already, and I have been experiencing all the main jobs here, like station staff, office staff, and so on. The main concern in every position is always security. In order to make sure that all the customers get on the train safely, we check various security issues. For example, if there is something strange on the tracks. So every part of our job is important to keep the whole station safe.
Trainee Kota Ino has to be ready for a surprise visit from his higher-ranking colleague at any time.
Thank you for your hard work. Anything unusual to report?
No.
Are you following the instructions?
Yes.
Your uniform is okay as well. Well done.
Fumio Taguchi is happy with Kota Ino's work. His checks help to ensure that no employee deviates from the standardized procedures. Another typical feature of Japanese
地
working
铁
culture.
就是能放地上就
Rules
放
are
地
the most
否则你
valuable
都欣
asset.
赏不到自己的
At
那个
this
努力的
station,
成果
meticulous adherence
都
to
在地下
certain
看不
rules
见呢，
is
操！
one of the factors that
建在
guarantees
地
that
上，我就
public
经常看到
transport
是火车
remains
走来
on
走去，我
time
特别开
and
心。
functional.
就是为了省空间才到地下。
但是建到地下贵。
啊？还有区别的吗？
Was all okay?
Yes.
Okay, please drive to Kamishakuji.
Okay.
对，贵一倍。你可以
Anyone
试
working
试
for
地上和
Japan's
地
most
下的路
famous
的造
station
价。
cannot afford to make any mistakes,
我还没开始搞，
especially when they
应该
deal
所有
with
我还没
over
搞。
1
虽然我刚才
billion
说的是现
passengers
实
a
里，
year.
但是游戏里确实贵，确实是。
During 1 hour, about 25 trains pass one track. So really, a lot of trains are coming in and out. In order to deliver a safe and balanced schedule in that kind of situation, it is necessary to do perfect work. I make sure of that because it is so important that the employees continue performing in a very precise way.
そういうことをしっかりと液化ガリン並びに、電車の車掌は日頃から訓練をしています。
The station's minute-by-minute train schedule will only work if each cog is working perfectly.
其实像他这种没有平面门的站台，我自己站的旁
Passenger
边都怕
Satoshi
掉。
Kiwana's train is also 100% on time. Travelers like him have no idea how much effort is put in behind the scenes. And that's exactly the way it should be. Trains and other transport services arrive at and depart from Shinjuku Station 21 hours a day. 20 past 7 is the day's last big rush.
笑
Trains
醒
are
说
now
为什
spitting
么
out
连
up
不
to
起来？
500 passengers every second.
Oh, 这样可以连。
To tackle
要
this
确保这个
volume,
隔一段要
station
连一
staff
下，
work
否则这个
round the
人行道都
clock
过不
in
来。
3 separate shifts. Directions, small-scale construction work, safety precautions. There is always something to do in all areas of the giant hub. Even though concentration often tends to drop off towards the end of a shift, the machinery of Shinjuku Station will not work properly unless each individual department gives it their all at all times. Just before 8, the day slowly draws to an end. And the party hotspot of the Shinjuku district really starts to buzz. The bright lights of the countless bars, clubs, and restaurants draw in tourists and visitors looking for a
歌
good
舞
night
伎
out.
町、神
At
士町
almost any time of day or night, up to 1 million people are on the move in this neighborhood, which covers
春日他
just
家
18 square kilometers.
不信呢，这地方。
As a result, things are still bustling in the station too. Most of the shopping hubs close at around 10 p.m. Lunchbox employee Hazuki Yamadura has just about survived the evening rush hour. Today, she sold 1,300 bento boxes. That's 7,000 euros of revenue in a single day.
When the customers are gone, I feel really relieved. It is very exhausting, but at the same time, I'm glad that everybody got a good meal for their journey.
While the day is almost over for some, another team is just about to start its shift. 170 members of the cleaning team are on duty around the clock. However, the most important part of their work happens at night. In typical Japanese style, the team boosts its motivation with a chant.
Be nice to colleagues and avoid disasters.
Be nice to colleagues and avoid disasters.
Thank you for today.
The cleaning squad works in small teams of up to 10 people. 31-year-old Yoshimune Kobayashi has been doing the job for 7 years and is now a team leader.
现在要
The
过渡到
team
低密
leaders
度
split
区，
up the
从
work
这边
between
开始。
themselves and distribute jobs within their teams.
What is your
但
schedule
即
for
使是
today?
低密度区，也不能忘了夹杂一些
We have
那
a group
个
of cleaners going to do the middle square and
商
corridor.
业建筑，低密度商业。
Okay, I will meet you later.
The team is preparing for the moment when the final guest leaves the station. Then it's time to clean the windows and platforms. Even the last piece of chewing gum stuck to the floor has to go. The giant hub gets a thorough cleaning every single day.
Between the last train in the evening and the first
这
train in the
个真的
morning,
好难
we
看，我要
only
把这个
have
轨
3
道重
hours,
建一下。
so we need to work high speed.
为什么
1:23 in the morning. The doors to the world's busiest station are closing. It's time to go. When the trains have stopped rolling into the station, the platforms look a bit like ghost towns. The surveillance cameras stop recording the crowds of passengers. It's time to start work on all the jobs that the public never notices.
这样才好看？其实只需要把两边重新搞一下就好，并不需要整个拆，那样也太浪费。
For Yoshimune Kobayashi, the night begins with one of his favorite jobs. Recently, the cleaning squad gained a new member to help them clean the huge station area. A brand new robotic cleaner. The robot has saved the station's entire floor plan and works autonomously.
In order to always have the newest cleaning system, we have imported this machine. It's the only one of its kind in the whole country.
业的
We're
下
very
岗
proud of
潮
it,
开始，
and it is my best friend.
这也就拆了1-2个公司。
Really? Who wouldn't want a robotic cleaner as their best friend? At night, everything happens at the same time. The teams work against the clock. After all, the window in which there are no passengers or trains on the tracks is a mere 3 hours long. Repairs and work on the tracks must not disrupt train, subway, or bus operations under any circumstances. This would cause too much chaos. So before the
这为什么会
first
这
guest
样？
arrives back at the giant hub in the morning, any sign of construction work disappears completely. It's as if nothing had happened. At the same time, Yoshimune Kobayashi and his team are adding the finishing touches. Their job today was to clean 10 platforms, several kilometers of corridor, and masses of
晚上10:08 呢
windows.
还在堵。
By the time he and his team head home, every last speck of dirt must be gone. Yoshimune Kobayashi is proud to have done his part to ensure yet another successful day at the world's busiest station.
I had a very good day. The station is
医疗
very
直升机
clean,
怎
so
么停在
tomorrow
人行
the
道上？
passengers can come again.
干嘛？
That makes me happy.
The day has come to an end, and the rail staff are already waiting for the next few minutes to roll by before the doors go up, and everything starts all over again. The world's busiest station handles 3.6 million passengers a day. The only thing keeping it running is a perfectly coordinated logistics strategy. A complex system of directions. Hundreds of service staff. In the station itself, hundreds of stores and lunchboxes keep the crowd smiling. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, Hundreds of surveillance cameras watch over every centimeter of the station. And strictly trained staff prevent accidents and catastrophes with the utmost discipline. They share a common goal: perfectly timed trains arriving on a second-by-second basis in Shinjuku Station.
非主义强迫症犯了，我总觉得这个不是很完美。这里 ，motherfucker，
我这路拉的怎么那么细？是我。嗯，靠，
坡道。所以话说，为什么他们会成这个样？
这保存之后。
哎，这地方到底有什么毛病？我靠！哎呀，这样好看多了，我靠！总算这3个弯比较顺了。这个地方，
哎呀，
行。
在哪？这
荒川区，
刚进游戏就闪退是吗？这高架，它底下没有支撑的吗？
什么支撑？
哦，有，这的话。没有，看你刚才那个高架。
跟随。下一站，落木站人巨多。下一站是哪儿啊？我也不知道，哼，到了就知道。看这架势，难道是中？ 难道是高地步行街站？好像真是高地步行街站。这边就是高地步行街，果然是高地步行街站。
横过来。
这是畅真大厦站是吗？畅真大厦线。
也别建楼。
首都高速新壮环线，这些名字怎么都被给破坏掉了？靠！因为我重建过，所以它都给分开了。但是我现在把这名字全都改了。
Citizens are advised to vacate any premises near the fires and remain at a safe distance until emergency services manage to get the fires under control.
这里都是首都高速新壮环线。
种树了。
The most successful metropolis in the history of the world has 39 million residents, 50% more people than any other urban area. It is the safest big city on the planet, and with a $2 trillion GDP, its economy is larger than all but 8 entire countries. This is Tokyo, Earth's model megacity. Our story begins 561 years ago, when a samurai warrior built a castle on the shore of a fishing village called Edo. Its rich soil was ideal for growing rice and attracted farmers from far and wide. In 1600, the great commander Tokugawa Ieyasu won the Battle of Sekigahara, a pivotal moment in history that secured Edo's status as the most important place in Japan. Unfortunately, the buildings of the expanding city were made of wood and paper, a dangerous combination to confront the warm winds of summer. Legend has it that on one particularly dry afternoon in 1657, a priest made the deadly mistake of burning an unlucky kimono. The fire flared up, ignited his temple, and engulfed 70% of the city. 100,000 people lost their lives. Despite the disaster, by the middle of the 19th century, Edo's population was in the millions. That's when the military shogunate system that had ruled for almost 700 years ended. A new government, led by a young emperor, finally made Edo the official capital of Japan, renamed it Tokyo, and made the castle his imperial palace. To celebrate his arrival, everyone toasted with rounds of sake on the house. Around this time, Japan opened up to foreign trade and influence, with Tokyo driving the Industrial Revolution that was modernizing the country. But rapid development had a cost: a strained natural environment. Forests were razed, pollutants choked the air, and Tokyo's once pristine waterways grew increasingly toxic. It was time for a more conscientious approach. The principle of Satoyama was born, promoting sustainable coexistence with nature, especially in the rice paddy fields covering Japan's sprawling foothills. Today, a century of conservation has resulted in parks covering 20% of the land in the Tokyo metropolitan area. But while the danger from pollution has been largely overcome, one natural phenomenon poses an unavoidable threat: earthquakes. In 1923, an 8.0 magnitude quake rocked Tokyo, devastating the geologically unstable eastern wards of the city. As firestorms engulfed whole neighborhoods, some took advantage of the chaos to target political enemies and minority groups, like Koreans. When the smoke finally cleared, 140,000 people had perished. Just 22 years later, in 1944, Tokyo was hit again. This time from above, by Allied air forces who waged a relentless 9-month campaign that lasted until Japan's surrender to end World War II following America's detonation of 2 atomic weapons on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. On the worst night of the onslaught, 279 Boeing B-29 Super Fortress heavy bombers dropped more than 1,600 tons of explosives on eastern Tokyo. It is regarded as the single most destructive bombing raid in human history, leaving more than 100,000 dead and more than 1 million homeless. It took generations for Tokyo to completely recover, but today, after more than 7 decades at peace, Tokyo is thriving. Its dense metropolitan area now stretches an incredible 32 uninterrupted kilometers, all the way to Japan's second largest city, Yokohama. While roads and highways are how many get around, the arteries that set Tokyo apart from other megacities are its extensive rail lines. After World War II, Japan didn't have access to the oil reserves and automobile-focused transport system required, so the government wisely invested heavily in rail projects to connect central Tokyo with surrounding towns and cities. In October 1964, just in time for Tokyo to host the Summer Olympics, Japan debuted the world's first modern high-speed rail line to Osaka, the Tokaido Shinkansen, with trains reaching speeds of 256 kilometers per hour. Today, Tokyo's urban rail network serves a world-leading 40 million passengers a day. Compare that to America's car-dominated system, where space for roads and parking can take up to 60% of a city's available land. Of course, Tokyo has innovative ways of storing the cars that it does have, and its bikes. Congestion has also been eased by an $11 billion mega project. The Tokyo Bay Aqua Line is 1/3 bridge, 2/3 tunnel. It has turned what was a 90-minute drive through downtown and around the shore of the bay into a 15-minute sprint through it instead. The project took 30 years to design and complete because it has to withstand the ever-present danger of earthquakes. That's also why buildings in Tokyo cost an extra 50% to construct, and why they tend to be shorter than the skyscrapers in other economic capitals. 2 factors that drive up real estate prices and add to urban sprawl. From above, Tokyo seems like an unnavigable maze, but on the ground, life for many is lived locally within their own neighborhoods. Shops and businesses to obtain day-to-day essentials can usually be reached within a short walk, including many of the world's greatest sushi restaurants. Japan runs on seafood. Along Tokyo's harbor lies Tsukiji, the largest fish market on Earth. Every day, more than 50,000 people come to buy and sell 400 different types of seafood. Among the buyers are the chefs of the 227 restaurants with at least 1 Michelin star, making Tokyo the city with the most of these prestigious marks of excellence. In fact, when President Obama visited Tokyo, he ate handcrafted sushi prepared by the great Jiro himself. He also played football with a humanoid robot, just one example of how Japan is leading the global transition to automation. As a technology superpower, Tokyo is home to the most non-state-owned Fortune 500 companies of any city in the world, and, along with New York and London, is considered one of 3 command centers for the global economy. All of these factors make Tokyo the most advanced major city, and it's getting ready to put on a show for the entire world. In the summer of 2020, it will host the Olympic Games. This is motivating Tokyo's metropolitan government to use its massive annual budget, which is larger than the country of Saudi Arabia, to fast-track its progress. Among the achievements that are already complete,
缺航空信号灯啊！我就发现这个天际线的夜景，楼上面那些红色的航空信号灯它没有。对，按理说每个楼上面不应该全都是航空信号灯啊？ 有，但是很少。
只有特别高。
这一幢楼有，但是反而更高的这楼却啊操也有。好吧，它就是太不明显了，它拉远了以后你根本看不到，你看。但是实际上航空信号灯做的不就是为了让你能在远处看到？
看到。
这你不放大，原来他们都有航空信号灯，那你不放大根本就看不见。这应该是那种，应该按理说是从远处一看就是一片红色的灯海的感觉才对。
确实很不明，特别拉远。现在开了最高画质。
苍天窟现在注意力要转移到原厂区这边，差不多，注意力转回苍天窟。荒川窟总是叫错名字，3个名字串着叫，靠！一会儿管这地方叫道顿窟，一会儿管这地方叫苍天窟，一会儿管这个地方叫荒川窟。我要把这个地方打造成世界首屈一指的购物中心才行。首先让我看一下游客，这边的吸引力还不够，反而都没有这个足球场吸引力高，怎么能这个样子？看来是公园放少，来人。我直接放这个什么首尔城，我把首尔城放在这中间。
那来还炸。
这是个圆圈是吧？要放它的话还没有那么容易呢。要放它的话，我这中间需要全部拆掉。其实。
哎呀，这里也有。拉条路。桌子。
这个。
有的。
Denny's Denims, where we got every denim you can imagine. We got square dance and foxtrots and hideaway at home dirty denims. Skirts and hats, belts and boots. We can cover you head to toe if that's what you like. Even got your dang old denim leg garters for the boys who love that denim real good. You ever wear a denim vest? I'll tell you, girl, you will have them swarming. You'll see. Come on down to Denny's Denims. I'll set you up. Don't ask for Denny.
Now entering thick digital games. Prepare for sensory overload.
You want it thick. Digital! Are you a man or a mountain? Digital! You ready for a game that rips out your heart and stops it to death? Digital! Then come on down to Thick Digital and we'll hook you up to adrenaline overdrive. You won't be able to take much more of this, sir. Then hit them with everything we've got. Digital! Thick Digital! It's all out war!
我把这个地方围起来，这是个圆形的建筑。这些全部都要重建，大半个荒川窟被我拆光了，好狠！
就在水中了。
如果这里要重理人，不如这里改名。 首尔城墙的8大城门崇礼。这贴图做的挺细呀。
楼建的不够高。够高的楼都在起。比克公寓，
塔。有趣的建筑。
This is an emergency broadcast to all citizens.
Increasing areas of forest are being engulfed by flames. The thick smoke rising from the fire makes the air dangerous to breathe. Citizens are advised to vacate any premises near the fires and remain at a safe distance until emergency services manage to get the fires under control.
太阳再次升起。这是个酒店啊，原来。 巨斧湖要干了，靠！紧急放水啊！
为什么会干啊？
因为你太久不放水，干了。黑暗不在，没有黑暗啊！
把黑暗排除的方法就是把巨斧排干，
偷干了给。
哎。
这边绝对要再设立一个城市的，因为这个地方太大了。你看看这地方有多大？这个，我现在城市这么大，这个地方完全可以建第二个城市，而且必须建第二个城市。我觉得，我都根本对不起这一块地，就不能作为这个城市的一个区，这已经太大。或者说你就做东京都市圈那种，虽然是一个独立城市，但好像没人把他们当独立城市。这边是新亚特兰蒂斯市，那么这边的城市叫做什么呢？应该给它个初始规划的地域，加上个名字。这个城市的话，他们共用一个机场，这个就像横滨和东京一样，是共用一个机场。横滨没有自己的，横滨作为日本第二大城市，没有自己的机场，因为它离东京太近，就像我们这个一样。实际上，搞笑的是，新亚特兰蒂斯的风雨国际机场以及太空港离这个新城市比起，离它自己近。是啊，
没有那个，我也没见。
所以，
Those rhymes when you demand perfection.
18。综合行道。
这里如果要设立新城市的话，它的名字到底叫什么？我感觉世界上的好名字都被现实的城市抢光。
对，哇，8车道也能堵，全给堵。这要去哪？
到底叫什么呢 ？Shit！ 我想一些奇怪的名字，我想，但是又很那种高雅好听的名字，叫什么呢？你看这个地方总起雾，如果总是起雾的话。 哎，我靠，起名太难，起名太难。
不准左转吗？你怎么还左转？
可能要等一会儿交规才会实行。
哦，对，有可能刚刚还堵，刚刚那个还堵着，要是左转的车还堵在那个后面。
暂时叫这个名字。
让他们掉。
在我想的更好的东西之前，
高速都加很。
暂时叫伊库希卡里，中文名玉光城，郁金香的郁，光明的光。这边会是我们的第2座城市，它会和新亚组成一个都市圈，它的市中心会在这里，然后以中密度过渡到低密度，与新亚的奔流市啊，这边已经是另一个市了，这是第3个城市。那么，这是新亚这一块。然后这是奔流市，然后这个是玉光市，这边可能还会再起一个都市圈。
现在交通压力。
这里有一个火车总站，我觉得我要把这个高速公路改成地下段，这一整段。
吊车穿模。种几棵树，功能。这样。树密密麻麻的种的，我都有点密口。
哎，它自动生成这个护坡，非常好。这边我要建造另一个火车站，不过这个是真正的火车站。到那里，火车站加轨道是在哪啊？我先加完轨道再移也行。它其实最大就这么大。
Now entering thick digital games. Prepare for sensory overload.
You want it thick. Digital! Are you a man or a mountain? Digital! You ready for a game that rips out your heart and stomps it to death? Digital! Then come on down to Thick Digital and we'll hook you up to adrenaline overdrive. You won't be able to take much more of this, sir. Then hit them with everything we've got. Digital! Thick Digital! It's all out more.
这超级大火车站，靠！这轨道，
我的火车总站还就只有一个货运车站还在用，其他都还没搞起来。我操，我们这里也堵，别吧。开一条路，哎，闪退，催我去睡觉，真的是烦沉迷，游戏太需要有，这样。
我马上回来，先把它放这里。
This is an emergency broadcast to all citizens.
Increasing areas of forest are being engulfed by flames. The thick smoke rising from the fire makes the air dangerous to breathe. Citizens are advised to vacate any premises near the fires and remain at a safe distance until emergency services manage to get the fires under control.
没结束，不知道明天能不能结束。
Are you setting a good example for your followers? Are you on a journey to find freshness? Are you tired of shopping at the dingy stores? Sure you are! That's why you go to Common Groceries, the ultimate destination for the discerning shopper.
Why, hello, Janet.
Hi, Stanley.
Isn't this a lovely place to shop?
It sure is.
Common Groceries. For twice the price, it's twice as nice.
Now entering Thick Digital Games. Prepare for sensory overload.
Digital! Are you a man or a mountain? Digital! You ready for a game that rips out your heart and stomps it to death? Digital! Then come on down to Thick Digital and we'll hook you up to adrenaline overdrive. You won't be able to take much more of this, sir. Then hit them with everything we've got. Digital! Thick Digital! It's all out war!
啊，这还无效，我真是服。开始来车了，来了一堆车。他们要去哪里啊？啊，目的地，他们都是来入住的。我希望以这栋楼开发来带动这个城市的初始发展。这边我试用一下欧洲，看看会怎么样。开始了。 日记城堡。青草之冠。 各幢大楼，倒是很像温哥华公寓的感觉。
Those rides when you demand perfection.
Are you setting a good example for your followers? Are you on a journey to find freshness? Are you tired of shopping at the dingy stores? Sure you are. That's why you go to Common Groceries, the ultimate destination for the discerning shopper.
Why, hello, Janet.
Hi, Stanley.
Isn't this a lovely place to shop?
It sure is.
Common Groceries. For twice the price, it's twice as nice. We interrupt this program to bring you a special news bulletin. Increasing areas of forest are being engulfed by flames. The thick smoke rising from the fire makes the air dangerous to breathe. Citizens are advised to vacate any premises near the fires and remain at a safe distance until emergency services manage to get the fires under control.
有空就更吧。也不是北美。 车线路，哎呦，太乱了，现在。交通流量。我们的公交乘坐人数已经16万了，我们城市一共18万人，其中有16万人通过公交出行，公共交通极其发达。发达的离谱。这边需要一个天桥呀，我感觉。是谁住在这种 penthouse 上的话说？看看这 penthouse 多漂亮。那么到底是谁住在这里？这 penthouse 有点太好，这层高也太恐怖了。这超级豪宅啊，估计是。难道我市长就住在这里吗？还有直升机坪。 堵了啊！他们都在干嘛？他们为什么都要往这边走啊？火车站不成？巴黎圣母。 怎么锁了？环绕模式。没有信号是吧？服务器集群。是不是时候重整巴士服务了？我在想，巴士这个东西现在在我的城市里处于一个乱七八糟的状态。 如果要重整巴士的话，我可能要选择把所有的线路都撤掉。5工业建筑是吧？刷一下喽。这边搞多点工业建筑。
Cities are a big deal. We pretty much all have to live in them. We should try hard to get them right. So few cities are nice. Very, very few out of many thousands are really beautiful. Embarrassingly, the more appealing ones tend to be old, which is weird because we're mostly much better at making things now. Cars, planes, or phones. Why not then cities? It's crazy to settle for this and to leave something so important to chance. We need to get more scientific and identify the principles that determine how a city gets to be pretty or ugly. It's not a mystery why we like some cities so much better than others. This is a manifesto about how to make attractive cities. There are 6 fundamental things a city needs to get right. One of the things we really love in cities is order. Order means balance, symmetry, and repetition. It means the same thing happening again and again, and the left side matching the right side. Order is one of the reasons so many people love Paris, but most cities are a complete mess. When it's a mess, it seems like no one's in charge, and that's worrying. It's horrible when everything is jumbled up, a pitched roof next to a flat roof, a stark geometrical box next to a muddled car park, high-rise towers that look as if they've been placed at random like teeth in a gaping mouth. We generally have an itch to straighten things out, and when we can't, it's frustrating. The same urge is there when we look at cities. Often, it's not skyscrapers we mind in the city, it's skyscrapers that have been dumped without planning, like they are increasingly in London, whereas New York or Chicago shows the ordered way that we love. However, you have to keep something else in mind. Excessive order can be just as much of a problem. Too much regularity can be soul-destroying. Too much order feels rigid and alien. It can be bleak, relentless, and harsh. So the ideal we're seeking is variety and order. This is the idea in a square in Telch in the Czech Republic, where every house is the same width and height, but within that ordered pattern, every house has been allowed freedom at the level of form and colour. Or in Java Island in Amsterdam, where the pattern is quite strict. Each house is the same height and width, the colour range is restricted, but within this grid, each unit is completely individual. We're perfectly in the middle between chaos and boringness here, and that's what humans adore. That's what more and more cities should have, order and variety. So as a general rule, too much mess and it's off-putting, but too much simple order and it's boring.
同意。
What we crave is organized complexity, which you can see as much here as here. Now for the second thing that makes cities beautiful. They have to have visible life. There are streets that are dead and streets that are alive, and in general we crave the live ones. This is a live street in Hong Kong. This is a live scene in Venice. In the 18th century, the painter Canaletto specialized in pictures of cities everyone loved because they're full of life. There's always plenty going on. In this painting, we can see a stonemason's yard. The work sheds are rough, but they're charming. It's fascinating to see what people are up to. How do they load those huge blocks onto the gondolas? The life of the city is on display, and we're primed to love this. Contrast this with the dead streets of many modern cities. Today, the places where a lot of the work gets done look dull and dead. They're spaced out along huge highways, and you never go there unless you happen to work there yourself, because there's nothing to see. And most office buildings are brutally anonymous. The people inside might be working on all sorts of fascinating stuff, but we just don't know, and it's disorienting and cold. The street levels are dead. Contrast this with the streets we all love, where you can see things going on, a bakery, a cobbler's shop, a market selling carpets, a burger bar, a bookshop. These are streets we love because they're full of life. More and more in modern cities, we've hidden life away. We have lots of dead sheds and dead towers connected up by dead motorways where you can barely glimpse your fellow humans. Rather than the old alleyways where you can see people at work, look at them in the eye as they walk down the road and feel connected to others. Modern planners have become obsessed by hiding technology rather than trying to make it nice to look at. Today, we'd be outraged if we heard a huge pipeline was going to be slapped across a lovely river. We'd be up in arms, but we book trips to go and see the Roman Pont du Gard in southern France. That's because it's built for beauty and practicality. We think it's the pipe we hate. It's not. It's just the ugliness. So let's make sure our streets are full of life, full of people doing stuff you can see through the windows. That's what makes certain cities so attractive to walk along, that work is on show, that people are proud of what they're doing and are happy to let the world notice and appreciate the practical side of things. There's a third principle of good cities. They are compact. In the past, being able to be alone, or just with your partner or family, was at first a huge achievement. Only the largest class, the poor, lived huddled together. And it was horrid. As soon as people had money, they wanted to move out and have their own plots. Through the later decades of the 20th century, more and more people tucked themselves away in a private realm, and it's been a disaster. It's become deadly, cold, boring, and very, very wasteful on the environment. A compact city like Barcelona swallows a fraction of the energy of a sprawling one like Phoenix in Arizona. We've built a world of endless dead dormitory suburbs connected by sterile wide motorways, all because we labor under the false impression that we want to be far away from other people. But in fact, it's wonderful to have the balancing, moderating influence of living close to other people in uplifting surroundings. That's why we need tightly packed, well-ordered cities with lots of squares and public places in which we can hang out. All the most beautiful compact cities have squares, yet the art of the square has gone into terrible decline. We keep promoting the invention of mobile phones, but no one's built a good square anywhere on this planet for decades. It's not rocket science, though. Look at the Piazza Santa Maria in Trastevere, Rome. It's a public place, but intimate and enclosed enough to feel like an extension of your home. Lounging about here, having a coffee or a beer, reading a paper, you get to be around other people. Their moderating, cheering effect is restoring. It takes you away from the over-intense, couple-obsessed atmosphere of the home. There's an art to a good square. It should be neither too big nor too small. Anything over 30 meters in diameter starts to become too large, by which we mean the individual becomes overly small relative to the space around them, creating a sense of alienation and dislocation. In a good square, you should be able to see the face of a person across the square. You could, if need be, hail someone walking on the other side. The ideal square must offer a feeling of containment, but not claustrophobia. There's another principle of good cities to do with orientation and mystery. By definition, cities are huge, but the cities that a lot of people love also have lots of little back streets and small lanes where you can feel cozy and get a bit lost. We're drawn to the sense of mystery and enclosure that these streets offer. It's actually lovely to get a bit lost. A warren of alleyways can feel homely and intimate. At Cartagena in Colombia, the balconies nearly touch across the street. You can see your neighbors having breakfast. You know when they've gone to bed, what time the children do their homework on a Sunday evening. The fact that everyone's a little bit on display a lot of the time tends to make people nicer. They don't shout at each other quite so much. They put flowers on a table more often. We like it, but we forget that we do, and we don't quite know how to ask for it. Modern planners and developers give us maximum privacy because they suppose that's what we all want, and because they insist that cars and lorries, which like a lot more space than people, are the most important things in the world. Of course we need balance between small streets and big ones. Necessarily, cities are large. We love small streets, but they're a nightmare when you have to go any distance. So the ideal is to have big boulevards, grand, wide, straight places, and also little warrens of streets. We need cities that offer us two important pleasures, the pleasures of mystery and the pleasures of orientation. Let's think about
mystery
scale
and
now.
orientation.
Modern cities are all about big things. Joseph Campbell once wrote, if you want to see what a society really believes in, look at what the biggest buildings on the horizon are dedicated to. The biggest, most prominent things tell us about the actual rather than the admitted priorities of a society. We don't collectively say we worship sports shoe corporations, tax specialists, the oil industry and pharmaceuticals. Our cities, however, tell another story. They're full of enormous towers devoted to just these things. That is a bit depressing. As humans, we don't mind things being big per se. We don't mind being humbled, so long as the things we're bowing to deserve homage, like a beautiful mosque or a cathedral or a museum. But we've allowed our cities to be hijacked by aggressive commercial interests, by towers that honor not God or love or humanity, but pizza corporations and hedge funds. They exist because we've made a big, dumb collective mistake. We focused on who owns land, but we don't think about who owns space, who has air rights. And in the end, who has air rights determines what you can see from your window. We suggest that the ideal height for any city block is 5 stories high, no more. Above that, people start to feel small, insignificant, trivial. So we say, cut down those towers and pack everything into 5 stories. Make it dense, compact, and tight, like they do in some parts of Berlin, Amsterdam, London, and Paris, the bits we love. Of course, occasionally, there can be a huge building, but let's keep it for something really special, something all of humanity can love. Towers have to be worthy of their prominence. They must be aligned with our best ambitions and long-term needs. Finally, make it local. Some things should be the same everywhere. We don't expect there to be a uniquely Venezuelan telephone or a distinctively Icelandic bicycle. But we don't want buildings to look the same everywhere. It's hugely disappointing when you fly somewhere for hours, land, and feel you could be anywhere. The problem isn't just that we'd like a bit of variation for its own sake. Because of climate, history, and social traditions, each society really does have different needs, different strengths and weaknesses. There are many distinct styles of happiness, many good and varied ways of conducting collective life. The sameness of cities is a problem because it reveals how far each must be from engaging with a specific character of its own place. It's like wearing the same clothes in all climates, or speaking in exactly the same way, irrespective of who you're talking to. Cities need to have strong characters connected to the use of distinctive local materials and forms. The pale sandstone of Millbrae Crescent in Glasgow's south side is a local material, a medium-grained, carboniferous blonde sandstone formed when the Scottish landmass lay near the equator. Or around Cambridge, brick from the local yellowish galt clay is a major traditional material. Or think of the way the great Australian architect Glenn Murcutt found ways to put up buildings that reflected the distinctive character of Australian life. So the law should be, don't make your city from buildings that could be just anywhere. Find a style of architecture that reflects what makes your location specific. The obstacles to building beautiful cities are not economic. Collectively, we've got enough money. We face 2 main problems. Firstly, an intellectual confusion around beauty, and secondly, lack of political will. The intellectual confusion is, we think no one has a right to say what's beautiful and what's ugly. We get worried about who decides. We think beauty is subjective, so surely no one should say anything about it. It's a very understandable qualm, but it's horribly useful to greedy property developers. It's such a relief to these people to learn that there is no such thing as beauty. It means they can get away with murder. We may not agree to the very last point about what a beautiful city is, but we know an ugly one when we see it. No one's ever willingly taken a holiday in Frankfurt on Main or Birmingham, and there are good reasons for this, to do with an objective sense of beauty. So let's stop being dangerously relativistic about this. Yes, there is such a thing as beauty. Sydney and San Francisco and Bath and Bordeaux have it, and most other places don't. The proof lies in the tourist statistics. Let's not keep saying beauty is just in the eye of the beholder. That's just a gift to the next wealthy idiot who wants to put up a horrible tower. The other obstacle is a lack of political will. We've abandoned the design of cities to the greedy rich. We've given up believing in democracy. We face and have lost the battle between the public good and commercial opportunism. There will always be a greedy, slick lobby fighting for ugly development, but we can say no. Beautiful cities have only ever been created when governments impose strict and ambitious regulations to keep the greedy private guys in check. Think of Edinburgh's amazing new town, which only got off the ground because the government established clear rules to keep developers in check. They wrote precise legislation detailing heights of buildings, quality of finish, the width of pavements, and the character of the skyline. That's the only way you get beauty. They didn't leave it to the free market. Do that and you will have chaos. When governments give up on beauty, people start to hate all building. We become collectively despondent. We think we hate all building and that we can't create beautiful places. We get obsessed by restoration and opposed to anything new, which is wrong because we need places to live. Humanity hasn't put up a single beautiful city since about 1905. When Venice was built, no one regretted the lagoons that had been swallowed up. The goal of building should be to put up things that don't leave us regretting the nature that's been lost, because the architecture is every bit the equal of the designs of nature. We can create more beautiful cities,